Welcome to Coffee and Whiskey with Ivy. Last week I had to take one Panadol because of the pain in my neck, but today I had to take two Panadols. I will tell you why in a moment. In the past week, almost every piece of newspaper had something from someone up there talking about protecting social mobility is the key. To tackle inequality, ensure everyone is progressing. Singapore must ensure no one is left behind as country progresses. Meritocracy and the paradox of success. Multilateral system benefits all, PM Lee. You know, they keep harping on these words meritocracy, social mobility, inequality. You mean there is a big problem we have in this country or what? We all know the biggest problem in this country is the number of people who are up there and the number of people who are down here earning very little money. That's all. Simple story. So cut out the rooster talk. I believe 70% earn less than $2,000 a month. But of course, our ministers will say they don't pay tax. They're very lucky they don't pay tax. The point is they don't earn enough to pay tax. Just because one of their cronies, called Professor Tommy Koh, opens his mouth to say that the media is biased, opens his mouth to say that we must have a minimum wage, and so forth, suddenly everybody is on the defensive. Look, let's all sit down and look at the reality on the ground. Taman Shanmugaratnam says people are not conscious of social class. Please, Deputy Prime Minister, have 10 minutes of your time. I'll show you. People are not only class conscious, people are race conscious, people are color conscious, people are religious conscious. So don't say we don't have class conscious. What is the answer to all this? Link all politicians' pay to a minimum wage or a progressive wage. So the member of parliament can earn 10 times the minimum wage or the progressive wage. The prime minister can earn 50 times or whatever time, and so forth and so forth. But there is an interest for the civil servants, the politicians, to make sure the minimum wage is kept high so that their salary will be kept high. Now, our politicians' salaries and the civil servant salaries are all linked to the top paying jobs, to the highest paid doctor, to the highest paid lawyer, to the highest paid engineer or whatever, right? That is the fundamental problem. You keep talking about disadvantaged kids as well. Why do we have so many disadvantaged kids? Why do we have so many disadvantaged households? Stop talking about meritocracy, which gets you there. The constant solution of giving handouts is not the answer. People need to be paid a dignified salary so they can support their family with dignity and live with respect. You know, Mr. Prime Minister, you said, similarly, housing board towns are designed such that rental blocks and sold flats of various sizes are mixed so that people of different income groups get to interact. Very good. I give you a challenge. Convert Turf City into a huge HDB estate. Okay? Make all these people live on the fringe of District 9, 10, 11 so that they can go to St. Margaret's, they can go to ACS, they can go to SCGS, they can go to MGS. Remove all freehold ownership to land. Only the state owns the freehold to the land. So starting next year, on our 200th anniversary, make all land have 120 years lease, that's all, including HDB. So that when a person buys a HDB, he knows he will die in the HDB and he can have a few more years left to give to his family as a present. Luckily, some good news to uplift my mood. Uplifting kids who lag behind in school. The program is called Uplift and the person in charge is Indrani Raja. I like her. You know why? She's half Indian, half Chinese like me, and she's smart. So she will do something serious about it. But I hope She gets the right people on her panel, not more cronies who will just tell her what she wants to hear, but people like this young boy, this volunteer. He lived through this terrible, disadvantaged child's life in a school. And also, this teacher, Yo Hem-ju, who knows what being a real teacher is about. He says, most if not all teachers desire to shape lives. And that's what it's all about. Teachers should be shaping lives. They shouldn't be pushing kids to the edge of suicide by having to study so hard for the exams. I'm a very, very spoiled person, and my life has been very good and blessed. So when I read about people like Aslin Amran and how she became paralyzed from the waist down after falling into the pit of an escalator that was undergoing maintenance work and became paralyzed, and yet she had the gumption and the grit to pull herself together, go to SPD, Singapore Society for those who are physically disabled, and learn about what they do, got herself going, and not only found love and got married, but now she's helping other people who are physically disabled to find work and life and to carry on. I salute people like that, and I hope that the company that caused her to fall into that pit had the decency to make sure she's well cared for. Rachel Aoyong bought her first home, and do you know how many HDB flats she looked at? 43 HDB flats. I'm sure in a mental institution there's a chapter under this thing. It's called madness. HDB's annual deficit grows by 44%. HDB is the biggest developer in Singapore, and yet they don't make money. Is this fake news or what? Or do they think that Singaporeans are so stupid that we don't know they have what they call clever accounting, because they take the price of the land into reserves, right? So that's why HDB shows a loss. Our DPM Taman said that he disagreed with Tommy Koh that we are one of the more class-conscious societies around. But when I look at this article in the New Paper and this article in the Straits Times, and they both talk about two men who were planting artificial hand grenades around town, right? One Indian and one Chinese. Who do you see here? The same Indian. What happened to the Chinese? Why don't they put his picture in the papers too? Mr. Taman, we don't only have class consciousness, we are a racist country. Do Singapore and Johor need a third link? I'm sure we all know the answer. Perhaps we should invite China to build us the third, the fourth, the fifth, or the sixth, or the seventh bridge, because they built a 55-kilometer bridge to join so many places. And we can improve the immigration by using more technology and electronics so that there won't be so many people queuing up. Salma, this is a very good article about making it harder for errand doctors to cheat. But it saddened me again to read this, because if you're a doctor or a lawyer, you're already so blessed. You must have come from quite a good family to be able to afford you to go to university and be a doctor or a lawyer. So why are you cheating? Is there something very wrong with our society that when people who are professionals still need to cheat? I think our entire society must go back to the drawing board and search our conscience. What is it that we are trying to build in this country? A country of good people, or a country of people who all are trying to be pimps and parasites and cheat everybody and treat everybody as a prostitute? Let's get back to the drawing board and bring goodness back to our country. I will drink to that. Will you join me? Thank you for watching another episode of Coffee and Whiskey with Ivy. Remember to subscribe so that you won't miss out on the action next week.